We are observing Kartik Vrata. We are hearing Damodar Lila. Yesterday we heard that Jashoda was churning yogurt herself, and Krishna came and stopped her and wanted to take breast milk. Then Jashoda Devi, out of affection, gave breast milk, but then milk which was on the stove was boiling over. So she put Krishna down and went to attend that milk. And we heard Srila Sai Maharaj explain that that pure devotee knows from within, by the inspiration of Krishna, what he has to do. And if many things are at the same time, what he has to first do and second. So here there was no fault, because that milk was not for sense enjoyment, but that milk was for Krishna. And also Krishna wanted to make this pastime. Sanjata kapa spurita runadharam sandasya dadbir dadimantabhajanam pitva mri shashurur drishat ashvanaraho jaghasa hayangavam antaram gata. Being very angry and biting his reddish lips with his teeth, Krishna, with false stares in his eyes, broke the container of yogurt with a piece of stone. Then he entered the room and began to eat the freshly churned butter in a solitary place. So Krishna was angry. Why she put me down? I did not yet get full satisfaction. So he became angry. Then he went to another room where they were keeping, and he another room and was doing this, breaking the container of yogurt. Uttarya Gopi Sushritam Payah Punah Pravishya Sandrishya Chadadi Amatrakam Bhagnam Vilokya Swasutasya Karmataj Jahasatam Chapina Tatra Pashyati. Mother Jashoda, after taking down the hot milk from the oven, returned to the churning spot, and when she saw that the container of yogurt was broken and that Krishna was not present, she concluded that the breaking of the pot was the work of Krishna. Mother Jashoda, already before she heard from other neighbor gopis, elderly, that Krishna is very naughty. In the middle of the night, he is coming to steal our butter, yogurt, and these things. We put candle, and he blows that candle so that he will not be detected, but we see him because his effulgence is there. So they are complaining, but Jashoda would not believe why he would do this. And also she asked Krishna, and Krishna said, no, they are saying lie. When Jashoda asked, you were stealing there? No, they are telling lie. How? Because Krishna is speaking the truth. All those gopis, they want to serve Krishna. As their child, they want to give milk and everything. So they requested Yashoda, you please bring your child, we will feed him. Then Yashoda says, no, why I will? We have so much at home. Why I should bring him there? And Krishna also asked Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, may I go to eat in that house? Then Nanda Maharaj said, no, I am Nanda Maharaj. I have 900,000 cows, 9 lakhs cows. There is nothing lacking in our house. Why you should go there? So Krishna has no permission to go, and they want to serve him. So there is no other way than Krishna to come as a thief. But he's not stealing in a way that here some criminals are stealing. They are stealing without the desire of that person. That person is not agreeing that he should take something from him. But here they made for him, so it is actually not stealing, it is fulfilling their desire. But they are complaining so as to see Krishna in the house and also to always speak about him and think about him. So, but Yashoda never believed, but now she remembered that yes, already I heard, now I'm seeing that really he's a naughty boy. Ulukhalangrer upari vyavastitam markaya kamam dadatam shichistitam hayyangavam chaurja vishankite kshanam niriksha paschat sutam agama chanai. Krishna at that time was sitting on an upside down wooden mortar for grinding spices and was distributing milk preparations such as yogurt and butter to the monkeys as he liked. Because of having stolen, he was looking all around with great anxiety, suspecting that he might be chastised by his mother. Mother Jashoda, upon seeing him, very cautiously approached him from behind. Here in commentary, Mother Jashoda was able to trace Krishna by following his butter-smeared footprints. She saw that Krishna was stealing butter, and thus she smiled. Meanwhile, the crows also entered the room and came out in fear. Thus Mother Yashoda found Krishna stealing butter and very anxiously looking here and there. And also he was feeding monkeys. Why? Because in previous Juga as Ramchandra, he took the help of monkey army to go to Lanka and to kill Ravan and to rescue Sita. So out of gratefulness, he was feeding monkeys in this, feeling indebted. Tam atayashtim prasamikshya satvaras tato varuhya pasasara bhitavat gopi anvadhavanayam apayoginam kshamam praveshtum tapasiritam mana. When Lord Shri Krishna saw his mother, stick in hand, he very quickly got down from the top of the mortar and began to flee as if very much afraid. Although yogis tried to capture him as Paramatma by meditation, desiring to enter into the effulgence of the Lord with great austerities and penances, they failed to reach him. But Mother Jashoda, thinking that same personality of Godhead, Krishna, to be her son, began following Krishna to catch him. Commentary: Yogis, mystics, want to catch Krishna as Paramatma And with great austerities and penances, they try to approach him, yet they cannot. They're doing that Ashtanga Yoga we heard in Bhagavad Gita, Yama Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. In Samadhi they can see, by Krishna's grace, Paramatma, Vasudeva, Murti. But we are also singing now during Kartik, Jadyapi Samadhishu Bidir Pashyati. Nataba Nakagra Marichin. Brahma, in his Samadhi, that is deep meditation, he cannot even see the toenail of your lotus feet. But still I have that desire, because I know you are very merciful. I want to see you. Your mercy is astonishing. So because of that, I have that desire to see you. So they cannot, yogis. Here we see, however, that Krishna is going to be caught by Yashoda and is running away in fear. This illustrates the difference between the bhakta and the yogi. Yogis cannot reach Krishna, but for pure devotees like Mother Yashoda, Krishna is already caught. Krishna was even afraid of Mother Yashoda's stick. This was mentioned by Queen Kunti in her prayers, Bhaya Bhavanaya Stitasya. Krishna is afraid of Mother Yashoda, and yogis are afraid of Krishna. Yogis try to reach Krishna by Jnana Yoga and other yogas, that is Ashtanga Yoga, but fail. Yet, although Mother Yashoda was a woman, Krishna was afraid of her, as clearly described in this verse. We also heard now in Gajendra Moksha that sun is moving due to fear of Krishna, moon and Brahma, Shiva, and all they are doing their duties out of fear of Krishna. They are subordinate to him, and even death, Yamaraj, or death personified, is afraid of Krishna. So how is it that here Krishna is afraid of Jashoda? Because this is his pastime, human-like pastime. And this is intimate, sweet, delightful relation. There is no awe and reverence, because then love would be restricted. So that is why this is his pastime, to be afraid. This is not this fear. This fear increases rasa. When we are misidentified with the matter, then fear is there. I will die, and this will happen, all this. But when one comes on transcendental platform, there is no more fear, because nothing can destroy you, or you are not dependent on this matter changing. But in Goloka Lila also, there is fear, but that fear is not this type of fear. This is out of ignorance, illusion. But that is in Lila, human-like Lila. And this fear in Goloka Vrindavan increases rasa, transcendental taste. Also in the morning, we are hearing now during Kartik, Radharani is afraid, seeing the sun is going up, and she is afraid to push Krishna. So all this fear is there, and they are afraid of sound of cockati. So this is increasing the rasa in Lila. It is not same fear. That is why Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj he did not publish the third part of Jaiva Dharma for public distribution, where Rasa Tattva is described. Because not all will be able to properly understand what is described there about different ecstatical symptoms, anxiety, fear, and all this. They're there, but they're transcendental type. They are not like this. So one has to be properly trained. That is why if you give pearl necklace to monkey doesn't understand the value of that. He will tear it and throw it. So I will be loser. So properly has to be done. Seems like like same, but it is not same. How it is not same? One has to hear from a realized soul when he will be eligible, and also he has to practice to get glimpse of revelation, to be able to understand that what is the difference between this and that, although outwardly look similar and the same words are used, fear, like this. But there is a fine distinction. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, if you fail to make that, then spiritual fall will be there. You will become sahaja and you will try to imitate Krishna Lila, or you will think that is same temporary, like we see in this world, and you will want impersonal some realization like this. So have to be careful. So here Krishna is afraid of mother. Anvan chamana janani briha chalach charoni bhara kranta gati suma dhyama javena visram shitakesha bandhana chuta prasu nanugati paramrisha. While following Krishna, Mother Jashoda, her thin waist overburdened by her heavy breasts, naturally had to reduce her speed. Because of following Krishna very swiftly, her hair became loose, and the flowers in her hair were falling after her. Yet she did not fail to capture her son Krishna. Purport. Yogis cannot capture Krishna by severe penances and austerities, but Mother Jashoda, despite all obstacles, was finally able to catch Krishna without difficulty. This is the difference between a yogi and a bhakta. Yogis cannot enter even the effulgence of Krishna. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti kotishu Brahma Samhita. In that effulgence there are millions of universes, but yogis and jnanis cannot enter that effulgence even after many years of austerities, whereas bhaktas can capture Krishna simply by love and affection. Transcendental love means desire to serve him. This is the example shown here by Mother Jashoda. Krishna therefore confirms that if one wants to capture him, one must undertake devotional service. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tatato gyata vishate tat anantaram. Bhagavad Gita. That only by devotion I can be known in reality, in truth. And they will come to me. So here, further, bhaktas enter even the planet of Krishna very easily, but the less intelligent yogis and jnanis, by their meditation, remain running after Krishna. Even if they enter Krishna's effulgence, they fall down. That verse is there by Brahma in 10th canto, when they were praying to womb of Mother Devaki, that strivers accept your pure devotees, means jnanis, yogis, they, by their hard austerity, they come to some level of liberation from this material energy. And they think now we are perfectly liberated. But their buddhi, their intelligence is not pure. And they also think we got this position, they think that is supreme position, by our own effort, by our own will. They don't know that all the fruits are given by Krishna. So because of that offense, they have no adoration to Krishna. They fall down because of that offense to realize that they are not supreme. So they are not actually really fully liberated, but they think they are. So even these Brahman effulgence, they cannot attain if they commit this offense. But if, like Shukadev Goswami or 4 Kumaras, they admit Supreme Lord, but they want that Brahmananda, they can actually get it. But those who do not admit Supreme Lord and or think Supreme is impersonal, and they think we got that by our own effort alone, they will fall down. And even more abominable state than they were before, just to get a lesson. But devotees, that Brahma says, devotees who have pure love for you, they will not fall down. You are protecting them. And without any fear, they can move in this world and stepping on the heads of those persons who are putting obstacles, stepping on them. Like also you saw Dhruva when death came. He and that from Vaikuntha, that chariot came to take him, and then also death came. So Dhruva just stepped on the head of that death to use as a step to go on that Vaikuntha plane. Means devotees, they are beyond death. They conquered death. Except devotees, no one else. So here the point is, Yashoda was not able to catch Krishna because he is small and running very fast. Yashoda is elder and also this heavy breast, and she could not catch. But when Krishna saw her effort and being bound by her devotion, pleased by her devotion, then Krishna intentionally slowed down so that she was able to catch him. Without his will, no one can catch him. But Krishna is subdued by the pure devotion of his devotees. That is why one verse is there also by Raghupati Upadhyay. In Chaitanya Charitamrita you will find. He was a great devotee and he came in front of Mahaprabhu there in Prayag. And Mahaprabhu requested him, you say some verses, and he was telling, and one of those verses is, he said, some people being afraid of this material existence, they worship Shruti, the Vedas, Upanishads, and some worship Smriti, Puranas, and some worship Mahabharata. But I worship Nanda Maharaj, because in his courtyard, absolute truth, Supreme Lord, is crawling there. On 4, and Nanda Maharaj is ordering, Krishna, you bring my slippers. And Krishna is taking those slippers, sandals, on his head, and with great difficulty he is carrying that. A small boy. But how with left hand, with on nail, small finger nail. He lifted Govardhan. How this is possible then? He cannot even lift properly those slippers. That is all his Lila. So if you get mercy of Nanda Maharaj, then you can get Krishna easily, service of Krishna easily. So we have to submit to real devotee, those who have control of Krishna. Our Parangurudev also, in that article on Nityananda Trayodashi, he said that Supreme Lord is so great, no one can estimate. But those devotees who control even Supreme Lord by their devotion, how great they are, who can understand that? That is why those who are wise, they will always take shelter of pure devotees. By serving pure devotees, they will get the service of Krishna easily and surely. And that pure devotee will always devise means how they can serve Krishna according to their eligibility and circumstance and everything. So the wise always take shelter of pure devotee. Like here, Jashoda is catching Krishna, and Nanda Maharaj is also ordering Krishna. Krita gasam tam prarudantam akshini kashantam anjan mashini swapanina udvikshamanam bhaya vihvalekshanam haste grihitva vishayanti avagurat. When caught by Mother Jashoda, Krishna became more and more afraid and admitted to being an offender. I did wrong. As she looked upon him, she saw that he was crying, his tears mixing with the black ointment around his eyes, and as he rubbed his eyes with his hands, he smeared the ointment all over his face. Mother Jashoda, catching her beautiful son by the hand, mildly began to chastise him. We are singing Rudantam Mohur Netra Jugal Mirjantam Karamboja Jugmena Satanka Netra Mohur Swasa Kampa Triakanka Kanta Stita Greva Damodar Bhakti Badam. There, this is mentioned. He's rubbing his two eyes and afraid. From this purport, from these dealings between Mother Yashoda and Krishna, we can understand the exalted position of a pure devotee in loving service to the Lord. Yogis, Gyanis, Karmis, and Vedantists cannot even approach Krishna. They must remain very, very far away from him and try to enter his bodily effulgence, although this also they are unable to do. Yes. Great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva always worship the Lord by meditation and by service. Even the most powerful Yamaraj fears Krishna. No one can escape Yamaraj. We may escape in this world, courts, police, and this, and other people, we may escape, but Yamaraj, you cannot escape. And there you will be judged properly and get appropriate. Therefore, as we find in the history of Ajamil, Jamaraj instructed his followers not even to approach the devotees, what to speak of capturing them. In other words, Yamaraj also fears Krishna and Krishna's devotees. He said those who wear tilak and also this tulsi mala, you should not approach them. They are not under my jurisdiction. because Ajamil chanted Narayan name, and they wanted to take him, and they said no, because he did not do any atonement. Then the Vishnu, they said, what? He didn't do any atonement. He chanted the name of Narayan in front of you. So he's fully pure. You have no right to take him, and they took him, rescued, and they had to go. Then they came to Yamaraj and they said, we thought you were supreme authority, but today we felt no strength in front of them. What is this? Then Yamaraj said, yes, I am not supreme authority. Krishna is. They are his devotees. And Tajamil also was chanting. So I can catch everyone except devotees. But if devotees are not yet fully pure, like those who are pure devotees, for them there is no question. But if sadhaka devotees, they are not yet fully pure, they will not go to Yamaraj, but they will be judged by Vaikuntha court. They will also get judgment, but that is different type from Vaikuntha court, not Yamaraj's court. For next life, they will get appropriate facilities to go on with their bhajan. But if someone is fully pure, then he will go to Vaikuntha. So Yamaraj is afraid of Krishna. Yet this Krishna became so dependent on Mother Jashoda that when she simply showed Krishna the stick in her hand, Krishna admitted to being an offender and began to cry like an ordinary child. Mother Jashoda, of course, did not want to chastise her beloved child very much, and therefore she immediately threw her stick away and simply rebuked Krishna, saying, now I shall bind you so that you cannot commit any further offensive activities. Offensive activities means those which are not pleasing to the master. Because Jashoda, she was having that stick to beat Krishna. But when she saw how much he's afraid, she thought, if I will beat him, then he will run away from house. Then how I will live? I will die immediately. So because of being afraid of that Krishna will run away, she threw that stick. And then only rebuked him. Now I shall bind you so that you cannot commit any further offensive activities. Nor for the time being can you play with your playmates. Because Jashoda, out of parental affection, she's thinking, I have to discipline this child. He's very naughty. If I will not discipline means to teach him what is right, what is wrong, then his future will be very bad. Our Guru said she's thinking about the future of Supreme Lord. Because he is Supreme Lord, but now he's playing the pastime, this loving pastime with his devotees. So we should not, Gurudev said, we should not go to Jashoda and try to teach her. You don't know who is Krishna. What do you think about disciplining him for the future? He has no knowledge. And also in the morning, Yashoda, you don't know Krishna is eternal. Why you are thinking he has to take from Radharani so that his life will be increased? You don't know who is Krishna. If we approach with such attitude, then we will be deprived of Braja Prem. We cannot get Braja Prem. We will commit offense, we will be thrown out. Because that is superior type. Lower type is worshipping Supreme Lord in awe and reverence. He is Supreme Lord, biggest, everything, maintainer, all this there. I am his eternal servant, it is my duty to serve him very carefully, otherwise I will commit offense and I will have to suffer this mood. But in Vrindavan, there is no such mood. But if we are not qualified and that mood did not descend into our heart by the grace of Brajavasi, when you have that spiritual vision that he is not God, but he is my beloved, a spiritual vision, then you can do like this. As Brajavasis, you will follow Raganuga. But if you are only imagining mentally or by some knowledge intellectually, or because you are lazy to follow rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti, you try to imitate that, then you will be nowhere. Because that is not, that has to be revealed by the grace of Brajavasi, that type of, that is superior knowledge, superior devotion than this. That is why we should not approach Yashoda, you don't know Krishna is eternal. That will not be with submission, it will be with force pride. But if we submit to Brajavasi, when by good fortune we get that transcendental desire to serve as they are doing, then by their grace we can get that bhav. That should be spiritual, transcendental, not imaginary material. So gradually we can get that by proper procedure. So Jashoda thought, I will have to bind him, otherwise he will further do wrong activities, and he has to understand that this was wrong. And means punishment, that is one kind of teaching. It is not to harm, but it is for his good, so that he will understand. And he will not be able to play with others. So through this, he should understand that he did wrong, and in future, he will not do. That is the purpose. Parents, they don't have, those who are real affectionate parents, they don't have harmful, they don't want to harm their children when they are chastising. It is for their own good. They are trying to teach them what is right, what is wrong, for their good. Our Bharati Maharaj used to give that example. He saw one man beating one child. And outwardly Bharati Maharaj said in park, it looked, he's very cruel, that man. So I went there and tried to stop that man. Why you are cruel? You leave him. Why you're beating him? Then that man explained the whole story, that he's his son and what he was doing, and father, out of affection, he was chastising and beating for his own good. So then Bharati Maharaj understood, actually my vision was wrong. He was not cruel, he was out of affection doing this. But sometimes there may be cruel people also. They want to harm, that is another thing. This shows the position of a pure devotee in contrast with others, like Gyanis, Yogis, and the followers of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, in regarding the transcendental nature of the absolute truth. They have different attitude as Brajavasis. That is totally different category. That we can get by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this Kali Yuga, because he is most munificent. But Mahaprabhu gave proper process also to attain that through his Shikastaka, and based on that the Goswamis, 6 Goswamis, they wrote so many literatures, and through Guru Parampara that teaching and practical application, everything is coming. So if we follow that, then we can get. But also in history also it was shown that many Apasampradayas, pseudo sects also came claiming we are practicing and preaching Mahaprabhu's message but doing wrong things. So only those who are really surrendered to Krishna, they can understand those shastras and also that procedure, and from them we have to learn. There are many Apasampradayas. Totarandas Babaji mentioned 13, but during the time of our Parangurudev, he counted 43 of them. So always you will find in this world, there is a real thing and fake thing. So according to your fortune, if you have Sukriti and really you want service of Krishna, you will get it by Krishna's grace. But if not, then you will get some other things to get lesson. Tyaktva yashtim sutam bhitam vigyayar bhakavatsala yesha kilatam badhum tamnatat virya kovida. Mother Jashoda was always overwhelmed by intense love for Krishna, not knowing who Krishna was or how powerful he was. Because of maternal affection for Krishna, she never even cared to know who he was. Therefore, when she saw that her son had become excessively afraid, she threw the stick away and desired to bind him so that he would not commit any further naughty activities. This is transcendental motherly affection, not material. And it is not that Brajabasis, they don't know, but in Lila, they are playing like that. Otherwise, love would be restricted. But that same Jashoda Devi, she appeared as Sachi Mata. Nanda Maharaj became Jagannath Mishra. They are both Pandits, both. All Vedic Shastra, everything they know. About Supreme Lord, everything they know. And the gopis we see, they are only carrying milk on their head and shouting, who will buy milk, yogurt. Like they have no education, no Sanskrit, this school, no. Their only thing is to sell the milk and this milk thing there for their maintenance. It seems, because that is Braja Lila. It has to be simple and love should not be restricted, so this is that. But when Vilasa Manjari came from Vrindavan, Vilasa Manjari came as Jiva Goswami. There is no scholar in this world you will find like Jiva Goswami. So gopis, they are not stupid. We should not think like that. And Jashoda is stupid, no. But they are on higher level of devotion and they're doing that lila. But they know everything in Tattva because they are of Swarup Shakti. They are not like us, Tatashta Shakti. We are ignorant. We are like small children. Tatashta Shakti means small children. Not much knowledge, not much experience, so that Krishna can have parental affection for his jivas. He is inspiring, teaching them and rescuing them when they are doing wrong. And when they will be properly raised by getting experience of this world and everything, and of service of Krishna, then when they will be properly raised, grown up, and will understand, yes, I should serve Krishna, then they will not fall down again. But as long as we don't get that sadhan siddhi, we are like small children. We may commit mistake. Actually, we did mistake by wanting to enjoy this Maya. That is the original mistake. Now we have to correct that mistake. Purport, Mother Jashoda wanted to bind Krishna not in order to chastise him, to wish him any harm, but because she thought that the child was so restless that he might leave the house in fear. That would be another disturbance. Therefore, because of full affection, to stop Krishna from leaving the house, she wanted to bind him with a rope. Mother Jashoda wanted to impress upon Krishna that since he was afraid merely to see her stick, he should not perform such disturbing activities as breaking the container of yogurt and butter and distributing its contents to the monkeys. Mother Jashoda did not care to understand who Krishna was and how his power spreads everywhere. This is an example of pure love for Krishna. This you have to understand. Swami Maharaj knows. He is a realized soul, Brajabasi. That is why he knows. That is why he told, she did not care, because she is established in that pure love for Krishna. That is supreme thing. In Rasa Tattva, in the transcendental mellows, that Rasa Tattva, that is supreme. Braja Prem, when they don't see God. If we see from neutral standpoint, the rasa is more. But those devotees who are eternally perfected devotees of Narayan in Vaikuntha or Hanuman for Ramchandra, they are fully happy in their own service. They also may know that is superior, but for them personally, that is the best. And Krishna in the form of Narayan, he is most satisfied with those devotees. But if we compare from neutral standpoint, then we can see more rasa is there. That is why for Yashoda to think of Krishna as God would be restricting her love. So Krishna does not want that. That is why when Yashoda was looking inside Krishna's mouth, saw that whole universe, everything there. So when she was astonished, still she could not think Krishna is God. And Krishna also thought, if I will go on showing my opulence, then it will not be good. It will restrict her love. So he also stopped. So Krishna does not want, and his devotees, they don't want to be in that mood. They want this mood. Na chantar na bahiryasya, na purvam napi chaparam, purva param bahish chantar, jagato yo jagat chaya. Tam matvatmajam avyaktam martyalingam adokshajam gopiko lukhale damna babanda prakritam jata. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no beginning and no end, no exterior and no interior, no front and no rear. Because these things are material attributes of material things, but he is not material. In other words, he is all-pervading. Because he is not under the influence of the element of time, for him there is no difference between past, present and future. Time is lower. The transcendental plane, there is undivided present all the time. is different thing. And time is below. Only fallen jivas, they come under the influence of time. Then there is past, present, and future, and pressure all the time. Time is passing very fast. I will die, and I will lose this. I have to work on this. All the time pressure because of time. But there, if you come above this time into that realm, then you will get such a relief that you cannot imagine what kind of relief is. You will never want anything like this anymore. He exists in his own transcendental form at all times. Being absolute, beyond relativity, this time and space of matter, he is free from the distinction between cause and effect, although he is the cause and effect of everything. That unmanifested person who is beyond the perception of the senses had now appeared as a human child, and Mother Jashoda, considering him her own ordinary child, bound him to the wooden mortar with rope. Tomorrow we will further go more deep into what is said here, and purport is also there. He is all-pervading, but at the same time he has that form, because that is transcendental real. We cannot understand with these material senses and material experiences about that. When you get revelation, then you can understand. Before that, if you have enough sukriti, when you will hear the description from Shastra and from realized soul, then you will be able to accept it, believe it, yes, but you cannot understand how it is. For that, you will have to practice and get realization. Then directly you can understand. But you know, you will not practice unless you have that belief. That belief is first from Sukriti. So when you have that belief, then you will practice and you will get realization. But if there is no faith, then bhajan cannot start. And they can never know about Krishna, what is that. They will give false statements. Krishna is a human being, diplomat, politician, all these things. That is all useless, their mental speculation.